Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels. My guest today is new on the scene from Fantagraphics, Raquelle Jac. Your book, Bimbo Agitprop, did it come out last week or the week before? I know it's recent,
The week before.
week before. So it's been on the shelves for a little bit more than a week and a half. So you shouldn't have trouble finding it. Um, and I read it this last week and it was blown away. I really, really enjoyed my read. So Raquel, thank you for spending some time with me, and thank you for your. It's always weird to say amazing work when I also have to say heartbreaking and gut punching and raw and honest work. But yes, all of those things.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah, it's really great to be here. Thank you for
yeah.
having me on the show.
Uh, yeah. So let's start with. Just give me kind of the counter pitch for Bimbo Agitprop. If you were working at a comic shop, um, like who would be the customer that you would go, oh, I must put this book in the hands of, and then like how would you pitch it to them?
I think probably like a young woman. Like I think I wrote this book for me in my early 20s. But I know that people of all walks of life have enjoyed it so far.
Oh, absolutely.
Um like even like my more I don't know, like it's been really cool. I was about to go on a tangent, but
Tangents are cool. Tangents are completely allowed.
it's just been cool that like even my most like modest and like like not conservative like socially, but just like more like, modest friends are like still have been really supportive about the book and like have also found like enjoyment in it as well. And so like and it's also been really it because it's a memoir, like it feels very it also feels like very profound to have my work be accepted in that way. But
Yeah.
anyway, so the pitch would be like um a young woman, like a childhood in the white, like a with uh I mean I could read the back of the book, but it's like
Here,
growing up in, red state America, and
uh,
there's like
uh,
Y2K paranoia
uh,
and
I'll
yeah.
do it this way. You want to figure, oh no, see, I don't even have a great one because it does. It hits so many things. But um, I would actually pitch it. Obviously, I'd pitch it to the person who I thought would see themselves in the book. But like, I'm a
Yeah.
grandfather, and I have a daughter that's probably older than you, um, that sort of thing. And I think I would pitch it to the me's just as much because it's like, okay, you wanna you wanna feel for what it's like to grow up in small town red state. You want to put humanity onto to these things that we talk about a lot in the abstract. This is the book. Um,
Yeah, I think like the majority of the book goes into my mother and her struggles with like mental illness and how and the experience of having a mother who is like um who like shaped my childhood in a lot of ways because of her struggles. But I feel like some of my favorite stories are more like in the fun stories section
yeah.
of the book where it's more just like
Well, I
me
mean,
as a teenager and yeah.
no offense, but I would hope that your favorite stories are having read the book. I would hope that your favorite stories are the ones in the back fun stories part of the book because like again because I don't want to the hardest thing about talking with people about books like this is like I know that you already had to relive some shit just to draw it. I don't want to like make you relive some shit just to talk to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. It is interesting because something that really struck me whenever I was listening to the like Kayla E interview, I was that she spoke about like I think she had a similar experience as me whenever she wrote her book and Precious Rubbish, and I think
Right.
um because like she talks about it being separate from herself, and that's sort of been my experience where I had all these things just like gnawing at me, just like, and I was constantly like reliving it and constantly thinking about it. Like I recently reconnected with my sister who I had like cut out of my life for a while over something that I don't even remember like what the issue was, but
Isn't that how it always is?
yeah. And like, oh yeah, I reconnected with her and she was like, and I was like, I don't even remember what our fight was about. And then she was like, well, I'm not going to remind you. Like, I learned my lesson.
Well,
But like,
that's a good indicator that you were in the right,
no, I
as
don't
much as
think
there
so.
was a right.
I
If
don't
she's not going to remind you,
know.
then she doesn't want to remind you.
Maybe, I don't know. But let me think. Oh yeah, she told me how before I made the book, I would just like randomly talk, like randomly bring up like horrible memories that I had, and
Yeah,
just out of nowhere, and like it was just like constantly brewing under the surface, and but now it's like I don't think about this stuff at all
you
anymore.
found a way to let them out.
Yeah, it's like now it's completely separate from myself, and like and it has been very interesting to like have people ask me questions about these things and doing interviews because um there's a part of me even that's like insecure that like well what if I like put something in the book and like I don't remember it anymore, but like I remember everything, but it's just
Yeah.
um like I don't think about it anymore, and something that I've really been like struggling with and sort of working on within myself because um I like recently was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and that like I don't know, I kind of thought that the book had healed me and that I didn't that like I because I didn't because I wasn't thinking about the things that were happening to me
I,
that happened to me um I I didn't have to deal with them anymore. Like I was like but it's like I still have the maladaptive behaviors. I still um, like right now
what,
like I deal with paranoia, and it's like
right.
it's
What,
like crazy
I,
that I don't
I,
know.
I have all of the things. I am autistic. I am bipolar. I have PTSD and CPTSD.
Hmm.
Um, and if there's one thing that I'll say from my aged and possibly wise and but also not like professional opinion is like mental health is not something that ever gets cured.
Yeah.
It's something that is worked through and you develop new processes, and it's annoying as fuck how the things that you've been really good at sometimes for decades can pop up and be something you have to deal with again.
Yeah, yeah. The dangerous part is like thinking that you've resolved it. It's like,
No,
no,
I mean I remember a time when I was you're what, 25?
no, 29.
29.
Yeah.
Okay, then you might actually be older than my daughter. I can do the math in my head.
People have been
Yeah,
calling
you
me
got a year on
relatively
my daughter.
young.
You got a year on my daughter.
Okay.
Um, but so I was probably a little younger than you where when one day in my therapist's office, I'm like, you're probably getting tired of the fact that I just all the time these things that we fixed, I keep doing. And he just
Yeah.
looked at me and he's like, we don't fix anything.
Yeah. For real.
we we find ways to minimize reoccurrence.
Yeah.
We learn strategies for making it through when 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 it reoccurs anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not about fixing you. You're not broken.
Oh wow.
That was
Yeah.
the part that really struck me. He's like, you're not broken. You're just you process in weird ways.
Hmm.
And some of that is because of who you are, and some of that is because of the life that you lived. And and all of it is not something that can be like completely changed. It requires awareness and um mindful behavior, you
Yeah.
know. It
Yeah.
and God, does it suck? Because there's certain things that I like. Why can't I take a pill and have it be done? I take these
Hmm.
pills. Oh no. Oh, you're telling me the pills are just to level the playing field?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
They're not
really
to make it
cool
go away.
how like I have to remind myself that it's like these like maladaptive coping mechanisms and behaviors are actually like genius ways that our bodies and minds
Right.
um uh have like genius like systems to
Right.
like for survival
I
in
mean,
these
maladaptive is only true in one sense.
yeah yeah
Because in another sense, you're still breathing, so they worked.
yeah yeah
You know what I mean?
absolutely absolutely
Um,
yeah
so I'm gonna just for the listeners, I'm gonna kind of do the briefest possible synopsis of the first two parts of the book, and let you decide to what extent you want to elaborate, because this is a book that needs to be read. I think you're somebody that needs to be talked to, not as much for let's talk tell all the horrible stories, and then they don't have to look at them in the book.
yeah
Um, but the first part of the book you mentioned is about your mom, and your mom, man, did I feel for your mom, because your mom is almost like the stereotypical red-pilled, all of the conspiracies, all of the stuff that Alex Jones or whoever says is, the water's turning you gay, but for
hmm
59.99 you can buy my pills that will prevent you from, you
yeah
know, like she she's the person that somebody like me who I mean, I've grown up, I mean, like, there are parts of your experience with both your mom and dad that resonate with me, but at the same time I'm like, I'm sitting there going, oh, but I'm so lucky that there's only this part that resonates and that they're not, because I grew up affluent with educated families, etc. So like the idea that there are people that jumped on the satanic panic, that like the bleach bath blew my mind.
hmm yeah
I'm sitting there going, but I have to remind myself that it's like, we know that these people exist, and like it's not their fault that they exist.
yeah
I mean, one of the things that I constantly remind myself, particularly from the perspective of having both been a child and a parent now, is that like generational trauma is a real thing. So
yeah
whatever you got from your mom, I guarantee like what she got from her parents was some level beyond that, because we all try to do better than we feel like we were raised. And I
hmm
could see the ways that she was trying with you, even as I was like pulling my hair out, going, what on earth are you doing to your sweet little girl?
you know that like really honestly makes me like teary-eyed because I think I wrote this book like and drew it with so much anger. I was so angry.
And you like, I don't want to
But
take
like
any of that
no,
away
I know, but it's
because
like
it's totally justified anger.
I know. But like I like in the process of making the book, I feel like I was able to alleviate like a lot of that anger. And
Right.
now all I really have towards my mom is like compassion. Like I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm ready to like because I haven't spoken to her in like I don't know
I
10
mean, sometimes the
years.
most compassionate thing you can do is not be there. So like,
Yeah, yeah.
don't think that because you feel the compassion, you have to go rekindle that relationship and save your mom.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
That's not your
yeah.
job.
But I'm
There's my
really
armchair psychologist really
yeah.
quickly.
Okay. Yeah. Like I don't know. I feel like with the compassion, like I also struggle with like a lot of guilt too, because I just um I don't know. I just
Which, I mean, from reading your book, don't, you were a kid.
yeah, yeah.
You were a kid.
But it's
And
like
and kids are
making the book
kids.
is
Yeah. No, because I mean,
yeah,
two reasons. I mean, first of all, like, it's your life.
yeah.
Because it's part of her life too, doesn't mean that it's not your life and you don't own it. And it's not like you didn't protect her. Honestly, like where I was going to go next is, as crazy as your mom was, and as difficult as that was, where I found myself infuriated is your stepmom, who you don't name, you just do SM. So like,
Yeah.
you're protecting her through the wazoo. Um, Not only may have been worse, I mean, absolutely was worse in a lot of ways, but your dad's behavior made it that much worse. It's like,
Yeah.
when the bleach baths are the safe home.
Yeah. No, that's literally how it felt. It just I felt like
Um,
there was nowhere to go. Like
right.
there wasn't.
You know, when the
Um,
when the bleach baths and the wacko cures and the middle of the night, here's the map, Raquel. We're driving to where Jesus is telling me that I need to drive. It might represent the safe home.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and
Because at
and
least
and
there was
and
love. Like,
right, and there for people listening is like, that's the first almost two-thirds of this book. So be warned, and possibly just skip to the last third because those are the fun stories. In fact, they're even
yeah.
called the fun stories. And you know, I think you even acknowledge that like fun is a comparative term.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
But like, I think I'm blown away at how much the comics medium is one that allows for people to tell these stories. I'm a pretty well-read guy outside of comics as well. And well, it's been a long time since I call myself a movie buff. I'm aware of what's out there. I don't think this sort of raw memoir winds up in nearly as many places. Um, and I wonder if some of that is just the economics.
Mhm.
Um, you know, costs a lot of money to make a movie. Um, Books need to
Yeah.
have long-term shelf life to make money. And while I think yours might, um, again, by the nature of comics, there's I guess it's something that we forget, that like, as much as we worry about the comics market dying and whatnot, like the book market manages to continue going despite the fact that like there are probably 100 times as many books released in any given year as comics.
Mhm.
You know, but that's also why a niche book is that much harder to release because it's got just this massive amount of, you know, if you made this as a prose book, it would go in a section with new releases from a dozen different psychiatrists, or you know, I mean, like, the number of books that hit similar itches, for lack of a
Hmm.
better term, would just be much higher. So
Yeah.
it would kind of there would need more to bring it out. Whereas in comics, even though I can rattle off four or five that I think this goes into a category with that have come out in the last few years, I mean, that's four or five of a much smaller pool. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Yes, it does make
Um,
sense.
so there could be an economic side, but I think that there's also
I think it's harder, it would be harder to watch as like a film. Like I think that you can really see more of the comedy through the drawing.
also the way the reader gets to pace it.
Mhm.
That's one of the ways that the comedy can come
True.
out,
That's very true. That's
and
very
you can
true.
put two ideas on the page together. I mean, that's actually probably more than anything for both movies and prose. Like a page can have absolute heartbreakingness, but also comic relief,
Mhm.
all kind of packaged together,
Yeah.
rather than having to. Um, it was actually Joe Christian Gill adapted Ibram X. Kendi's Stamped from the Beginning, which is a like outstanding scholarly work on how racism has both evolved and not evolved in the United States over the last, 400 years.
Mhm.
Um, but I remember seeing an interview with Kendi asking why he'd done it as a graphic novel. And he's like, well, we're dealing with some really serious shit. And if you try to bring levity to that in prose, like there's no way to do that well. They're like, oh, you're joking about some really serious shit.
Yeah.
But on a comic page, you can have the serious shit sit beside the joke in a way where the joke lifts a little bit of the weight without taking away the weight.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think I actually like to get into the technical stuff. You did that. I mean, particularly with the mom segments, your ability to do that was outstanding.
Thank
Uh,
you.
whether it was, um, I got to flip through pages in front of me, but whether it was like uh, you'd have the lists or the how this works, or you got into the we got the theophostic therapy and the humping pillow and the frequency machine. The way that you would, okay, here's my trauma, but now we're going to step back and look at not just like how my mom's brain was wired wrong, but like the wonderfully capitalist influence on that.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't just that she was wired wrong, it was that somebody was willing to say, hey, let me take your money to increase your, or to what's the word I'm looking for, to firm up your bad wiring,
Hmm. Hmm.
solidify your bad wiring. We
Yeah.
can't have you having any doubts. You'll doubt it a lot less if you've got a machine that does something.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really glad that comes through because at the end of the day, my mother was really just a victim of capitalism and like the grotesque like excess and just like capitalizing on um people's fears and sickness and um
Fears, I mean, between a lack of easy mental health services in the United States, more so in rural areas, more so in red states,
Mhm.
between um God, we're the richest country in the world, and like the next 30 richest company countries all have socialized medicine.
Yeah.
I don't understand how
Embarrassing.
we're not embarrassed by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we're the richest country in the world, and like the next 30 pay for your education through college.
Yeah.
Again, I just don't understand. We're having fights over what comics can be in your school library,
Yeah.
but but not, I mean, and those, and I kind of like, I mean, you start hitting on that stuff at the very end,
Hmm.
which makes me really curious as to where you're going next. Because it seems like your inner activist has been awakened, even if it's still
Yeah.
looking for directions to be pointed. Um,
I I feel like in a lot of ways, this book helped me like I said, it helped me put to bed a lot of the things that were gnawing at me and that I couldn't like I'm I'm currently like on Suboxone for opioid use disorder, and like I'm actually like thinking of like titrating down. It's like for the first time in my life, like I feel like um I might be able to like live without I mean Suboxone isn't really a substance, but it's like I could actually be like confident enough in myself to like live without like that like I don't know, crutch, but I don't know. Uh
just keep lots of resources.
yes, I have a lot of people who are helping me with it. And I'm very
Yeah, I
grateful.
mean, that's like part father, part teacher in me kicking in, because
Yes.
on one side, I like people to find ways to do everything on their own, the best that they can, and the way that makes themselves happiest. And on the other hand, it's like needing help and having people look out for you is not a bad thing.
That's very true. And I've discovered that. Like I have a big community who's like supporting me and I'm very
Yeah,
grateful.
support systems are incredibly important.
Yes. But like um but like I feel like now I can talk about things that like I can talk about things that are really core to my value system. And um I'm not to say that like Bimbo Agitprop isn't core to my value system, but like I think talking about like politics and like the like struggle for collective liberation and just like I I hope to do more comics like that. And also comics that are that touch on mental health, which is kind of one
Right.
and the same with Bimbo Agitprop, but like
Yeah, there's a
I
lot
don't
of mental
know.
health in this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, there is. But like I guess I don't know. Like I
But
think that
maybe more of the fun
there's a
stories,
really
more of the this is where you can get stories.
like I guess maybe the intersection of mental health and 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 the politics of mental health. Like I guess
Yeah,
just like basically what we've been talking about
yeah,
like
that makes sense.
um concepts like healthcare and excess and
Right.
but who knows? I mean, I think there's also I have a lot of stories like that I would love to tell that just that touch on like infatuation and like the like false concepts of like love in the aftermath of
Right.
like living through
Though
trauma. Like,
those are also important stories,
yeah, yeah.
you know.
But like I also feel I guess I feel a lot freer to do create work that I really want to create rather than have to create. Because I think
Okay.
that Bimbo Agitprop, it was like I have to make this book, like, or else I'm never going to be able to move on with my life. And I think there's something really powerful in that urgency. And I think that's also part of why the book has resonated with so many people.
Right. Um, Tell me about how the book came about, because the one thing that you don't really detail in the book, and is often a hard thing to detail, I know from my own experience, like my wife will regularly ask me, how are you able to look at the positive in this? How are you able to look at both sides? And I'll sit there going, I know what you're talking about in terms of not being able to, because I remember being like that, and I don't remember when I stopped being like that. It might have been a process, it might have been a switch somewhere that I don't remember when it happened.
Mhm.
So my dual questions here are like, because what I don't see in the book is your turning point, your point from oh my God, this world is just something that I have to survive to this world is something that I get to contribute to.
Hmm.
Um, and again, like I know from my own experience, I can't always pinpoint that. So my bigger question is like, it, I mean, obviously, if you have a good answer for that one, I'd love to hear it. But my bigger question is, did that come before, after, or through doing the work on the book?
I think that's a really great question. I think it came after doing the book, because honestly, I think like this is very morbid, but like I kind of didn't. Something that I've been reckoning with right now in my life is that I didn't really see a future like to my life after the book. Like and I think that's part of why I felt so like free to um explore all these things and to like bear everything. Because I really didn't think about the after the book. And I think that's something that I have only just now really reckoned with. Like, and I don't know if that's just like the chronic suicidality or what, but it's like the I something that like I was like the um the day of my book launch, I was like paralyzed with fear because I um just the idea of people reading this book is like it just scared the shit out of me. Like I was just so like and I was like why didn't I think about this before? And like there was part of me that was like do I regret making this book? But it's like I don't regret making this book because like I think it's good and
It is
I'm
good.
proud of it.
You
But
should
it's
be.
like yeah, thank you. But yeah, I really only I think saw a future for myself fairly recently. And I think part of that has been just like going back to therapy and like I recently did have like a bit of like a mental health crisis back in April and um like which brought me back to therapy. I'm in like dialectical behavioral therapy now. But like I yeah, it's been very profound, beautiful, scary. And I'm I think I'm grateful to be in the place that I am now. But yeah, I think it definitely happened after the book. And I think part of it was through making the book. Um, but I think it's very weird to me that I didn't really conceive of, I wonder how this will feel like whenever people read this book and ask me about it.
I mean,
It's honestly hasn't been horrible. Like it's been fine,
right.
but
I
it's
mean,
been
you
scary
brought
too.
up you brought up, and I have way too much experience with this. The I forget exactly how you phrased it, but I'm just going to call it chronic suicidal ideation.
Hmm.
Um, I actually regularly have compared um, suicidal tendencies to alcoholism. Like you never actually get over them.
Hmm.
Like as soon as you've opened the door in your brain to the idea that it's an option, like closing that door. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I know that I've, you know, never closed it.
Yeah.
I think it's probably been 20 years since I was ever in real danger.
Hmm. Well,
Right.
that's great.
But
Alhamdulillah.
but I don't know if it's been 20 days since the last time it like floated through my head.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that absolutely
And
makes
sorry,
sense.
mom, don't tell Kelly. Okay, my wife kind of knows, but she doesn't listen to all the podcasts. Mom does,
Hmm.
so you don't need to go scaring my wife.
Aw.
I'm okay.
Aw, that's sweet. Yeah, it is almost like an addiction. Like
Yeah. I
because
mean,
it's chronic. It's chronic.
yeah, I
So,
mean, I always
yeah.
think of a line there's an Ani DeFranco song called Fuel, that has a line that they say that alcoholics are always alcoholics, even when they've been dry as my lips for years, even when they're on a small desert island 2,000 miles from a place to buy beer. And it's like, yep, that's how I feel about being suicidal.
Yeah.
Like the day that my first goal getting out of bed in the morning isn't to survive, to be breathing,
Hmm.
to get into bed at night is problematic. That has to be my first goal.
Hmm.
You know. Um, so and I went on a little bit of tangent there, but I guess uh, combine that with all of the trauma and like I felt it reading it, and it seems to be kind of what you're telling me. You were writing and drawing for your life, so like it is like the most insidious part of trauma, depression, and suicidal ideation is like it can take all thoughts of future away from us.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
and sometimes for the better, because like there was definitely a time in my life where I could always imagine the future. I could just never imagine a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you got to choose between imagining hell for God knows how many years
Hmm.
and not imagining anything, that seems
Yeah.
like a step up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Particularly because at least for me, one of the big parts of my process is I try not to think and imagine too specifically about the future. I allow myself to dream, even the crazy, you know, President of the United States or whatever dreams,
Yeah.
you know. Um, I certainly ponder things that I'd like to do, and I take action when I see opportunities to do them, etc. But what I one of the things again for me anyway is like I find it dangerous to start going, oh, I must do this because it not
Yeah.
only not only carries the huge risk of, okay, if or I must do this, anything that's like more
Yeah.
than a week out.
Or, oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I must do this in terms of shoveling snow, which is my least favorite thing to do. It's the only chore that you do that would do itself if you just waited long enough. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
You lived out in Texas and
Yeah.
Southern California for a while, so you don't get this the way I
No.
get this in Chicagoland.
I don't.
Snow does melt.
Yeah.
Sometimes not for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I mean, when I'm talking about like must do, I'm talking about like I think there's a danger in a and like a 5-year plan that
Mhm.
isn't more of a guideline,
Yeah. Yeah.
because like so many of the things that have been most beneficial to my life and the best parts of my life, I've all but fallen into.
Hmm.
I acted when given the opportunity, but like if I was too rigid on this is what I'm doing to get to this point, I might have passed up the opportunity because I went,
Yeah.
oh, well, that just gets in the way of my plan,
Yeah.
rather than going,
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute, maybe this is better than my plan.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something that I have been sort of struggling with. But just like I never really thought of myself as like a person who needed control, but I don't know. I think
It's nice to control some
it
things.
is. It is. Like it's a very it can be very like it can scratch that like itch of like things just like going according to plan. But it's
Mhm.
like you're just setting yourself up for like a crash out or just like
Well,
you
and
definitely
also
need that sort of you need
the the
flexibility.
the
Yeah.
worst for me is when I plan something to the T and then it all goes off perfectly and I'm done. And rather than feeling happy or satisfied or whatever, I just feel like, well, I planned it and it worked, and that's what was supposed to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
There
like,
really
God damn
isn't
it, why
any.
can't I have some joy here?
Yeah, no, that is so relatable. That is very relatable.
Everybody's like patting on your shoulder. You did an amazing thing. I'm like, what do you mean? I made a plan.
Yeah,
I executed it.
yeah,
Anybody could have done that.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Human beings are weird animals.
This is true. This is true.
Brains are funny.
Yes. Yes.
Um, what made you decide? I mean, and again, it reads like you were writing and drawing for your life, but I still imagine that I mean, you had to pitch the book at some point. Hell, the prelude is about having had the book purchased and doing all sorts of cleaning rather than drawing,
Hmm.
um, which my wife would relate to. That's definitely.
Yeah, it's very weird. Like I hadn't ever
She hates
experienced
cleaning
that.
except when except when she like is avoiding something else.
Yes, like I don't I like I am not the cleanest person. Don't let
Right.
my roommate. I've been like I just had a roommate move in, and I've been on my best behavior. I've been cleaning like, and I hope that I think whenever I'm living with others, it makes me
It is
step
a
it up.
motivator.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Because then
Yeah.
it's not just a, oh, I'm supposed to be clean. It's a, I need to be respectful and
Yes,
compassionate towards these people sharing space with me.
exactly. Yeah, and I honestly I think growing up the way that I did, I actually was just talking about this with my sister because I was talking about how I got like a roommate, and she was like, remember whenever you had that roommate and like you left the dish, like a dish in like the sink for like 2 weeks? And it's like, yes, I do remember that. Okay. And I like couldn't conceive of like why the roommate was so upset. Like and I was like and my sister was like, well, I mean, it's the way that we were raised. Like we weren't really raised with like a whole lot of like those types of
Right.
that type of like structure or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there was just so much like filth growing up, and I don't know. It's yeah, I guess
I
I'm just talking about I'm just on a tangent.
no, tangents are cool. Tangents are what we
Yeah.
do. But yeah, no, I mean I get that. I'm not one of the things that like caught my wife off guard early in our relationship. I was still working senior care, so it was hard for me to like travel to see family with her when she did because I just couldn't get the time off. So she'd like go back to see her family in South Dakota for a week, and I'd stay here working. And like she'd get home and she's like, "You didn't do any dishes." I'm like, "Well, yeah, but how many dishes are there?" And she'd go, "A plate, a fork, a spoon, a cup, and a bowl." And I'm like, uh-huh. So
Mhm.
no, I didn't do any dishes, but I didn't really make any either because that had
Genius.
totally become my thing living alone is like
Yeah.
I do dishes when I actually decided to cook enough that there was anywhere near a lot of dishes. And if I used
Mm.
a plate, I'd rinse it off and then I'd use it again for the next
Yeah.
meal.
Yeah, I think it's weird because it's like but it's like a whole other story whenever you're living with someone, and it's
Right?
like I don't know, it's I I think I'm getting to the point where I have enough self-respect to um like because for me, I don't know if it's the same with you, but it's like it does come down to like respecting myself enough to keep my area clean. And like I think
Sometimes
I'm really working on that, and
for me, a
I
lot of
think
the
I'm getting
time is
better.
like I don't think of the thing that's not right in front of me.
Yeah.
I just literally don't. That was another thing my wife, I mean, so much of good relationships is communication, communication, some more communication,
Mhm.
and like figuring out how you communicate and how each other thinks. Like it was a game changer the day my wife and I figured out that I think in words and she thinks in pictures.
Oh wow.
And like the extremes of that even. Like I cannot make a picture in my head to save my life. I mean, initially she's like, "So you just see the words in your head?" I'm like, no, you don't get it. I, I I can't see things in my head. The best way to describe it is I hear the words in my
Mm,
head, whereas she thinks in like swirls of color that sometimes become pictures.
yeah.
So right there, it's like, oh, so we really have to make certain that we're understanding each other,
Hmm.
you know. But then the other thing is like I'll worry about a lot of things, but like only when like something has triggered the worry and the thought and the whatnot. And I'm pretty good at stopping once I've decided, okay, I've thought about this as much as I can think about it without new information.
Nice.
Um,
That's a good skill to have.
yeah, I think it's just the autism because that's not
Yeah.
one that I remember being different at any point.
Oh, okay.
Um, so like it took her a while to get used to like as soon as she went out of town, she's like, "Oh, I miss you. Do you miss me?" I'm like, "No, not really." And it's like nothing personal. I just you're not here, so I don't think about you. That's true of my children too.
That's so funny. Oh
When they're
man.
in front of me, they're the most important thing in the world, and there will be things that like that you're really important to me because there are more things that will remind me of you when you're not here.
Mm, okay, yeah. That's
But
interesting.
if I'm just sitting reading a comic book and it's not one that reminds me of you, then no, you're nowhere near my head.
Wow. Hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I remember even before my wife, like having a conversation with a friend of mine, right after they'd had children, and we're talking about Like, how do you handle the fact that you're a weekend dad? Like every time my kid's away at at preschool, all I can think about is what's going wrong. I'm like, I don't really think
Oh,
about them at all when they're not with me. They're like, you what? And I'm like, what am I supposed to think about?
that's so funny. Huh.
Not like I don't love them. I just
Yeah,
don't think
no.
about them.
Yeah, yeah,
I think about
yeah,
them a lot when they're in front of me.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I think I don't know. I haven't really thought all that much about it, but I think I do like I think I ruminate on so many things all the
Yeah.
time, and so I think I'm different in that way. And yeah.
I ruminate on global problems,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
but I also read a ton about global problems. So, like,
Hmm.
the ruminating
It's
about
in front
global
of yeah,
problems
you.
often
Yeah.
it's not only in front of me, but I'm always adding new information.
Mm.
And then it's ruminate until I've done what I can with new information.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, that's something I'm working on right now about just um there's never a point where I'm like I I've thought enough about this. It's always just an
Oh, I
endless
guess I guess
thing.
I should put it as it's very rarely that I reach a point where I've thought enough about this.
Okay.
It's more, I have these questions until I have the time, energy, or they drop into my lap to start answering some of these questions. We've gotten as far as, so it's like pausing the game and playing a different game.
Okay. Okay.
It's like, okay, I hit the stopping point here. Now let's play with the cat.
Aw.
You want to say hi, Eddie? The official 22 panels cat has just shown up.
Aw. What a baby. It's just a
That,
baby.
uh, uh, no, he's a brat, is what he is, but he's good with my granddaughter.
Wonder what I have a cat too.
Yeah.
Well, I she makes an appearance in the book. Her name's Lily. Yeah.
Ah, I did see that.
Yes.
We have four cats, but only one that
Oh,
ever shows
nice.
up for the podcast.
Aw.
Four cats and a dog,
Aw.
but only one that's really a brat, but also so good with my granddaughter that like I forgive him for everything.
My sister has three weenie dogs, and it was so funny because my sister recently got the book, and she's reading it, and we looked at a page together because like the three weenie dogs make an appearance in like the preface or the prologue,
I think I remember that. Yeah.
and ah, what's this?
Everything okay?
There's there. Okay. An alarm went off. But
Oh,
yeah, I don't know if you could hear that.
I couldn't. It didn't come
Oh,
through at
okay.
all. So I just heard initially I'm like, "Oh, have you gone old school and have like a non-smartphone?" I'm like, "No, that's a remote." But I can't figure out what it's doing.
Yeah, it's like these lights that also have like an alarm, like
Okay.
a I don't know. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, like the three weenie dogs make an appearance in the book, and we were looking at the page together, and I was like, I can't tell which one is which weenie dog, and she was able to figure out which one because like one of them is like super short, and I drew one of them super short, and I don't know. Yeah, they're sweethearts. I miss them. I really miss them whenever we weren't talking too.
So so how is it um reading through or having people who are characters, if not huge ones, because like the big characters are mom and dad and stepmom.
Mhm.
But Like, how is it to have your sister read the book? I mean, was that,
I was really I was worried about it, and I've I've like texted her a couple times like intermittently to be like, so like what do you think? What do you think? And she's been really supportive. She let me see. She sent me some texts because we didn't really grow up together. For the most part, we sometimes like I said, I lived with my mom for most of my childhood, and she visited my mom sometimes, but for the most part, she was living with my dad, and uh, and I sometimes visited my dad's house while I was living with my mom, so I saw her, but um, there were like long stretches where like I didn't see my sister Christelle at all.
yeah.
And so there are some parts of my childhood that I didn't even realize that she didn't know about. But
Yeah, we always assume that the people around us know everything about us, and
yeah,
at some point we have to learn that, oh, wait, I didn't tell you, and you weren't there. And it doesn't just seep through the walls.
yeah. She told me she sent me a text that said, I know you're not as connected to these memories anymore, but I'm sorry for how lonely you were. And
Yeah.
she was like, I didn't know how isolated mom made you. And then she said she really likes my medical illustrations. But um yeah, and I was just like, yeah, I was very lonely growing up. But yeah, it's been interesting. I'm I'm hope I never want my mom to see the book, and I never want my dad or my stepmom to see the book. I
I,
just
I will
yeah.
say that uh, uh, based on your depictions of them, I don't imagine that they will run into it in their course of their natural lives. The only way that they would possibly see it is if somebody decided to bring it to their attention.
Yes, I agree.
So,
Yeah.
um, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I also
Yeah.
like if they wind up seeing it because somebody brought it to their attention, well, like they chose to live a life where somebody had to bring to their attention
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
their daughter's critically acclaimed book.
Yeah,
What does that say?
yeah, my sister, she told me she was like I mean mom like because I was particularly worried about my mom seeing it because I just like I depict in the book, I worry about her still. Like I feel
Yeah,
guilt and
which I mean that's like I can't emphasize enough. You don't have anything to feel guilty about.
oh, thank you.
But that
Yeah,
doesn't mean
easier said than
that
done.
we're, oh God,
Yeah.
oh my God. I'm certain that we could both go through all sorts of things that we feel guilty about that we know we
Yes.
shouldn't feel guilty about. Which is why I'm just leaving it. You don't have anything to feel guilty about, which doesn't mean that like there isn't something noble and kind of sweet about the fact that you still worry and have compassion for somebody who clearly caused you a lot of pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
that's but that's also human.
Yeah.
That's part of being a person. It's certainly part of being a good person. But like you have starred reviews in Kirkus and Publishers Weekly. So even if you're not inside it, and as soon as you have starred reviews in those places, that means that I guarantee you that if we started really digging, there's been a blurb in so many of the magazines that you can get at the front of the supermarket,
Wow.
right? As soon as, I mean, I can't guarantee I'm not going through your press clippings right now. I just know how the comics world works. Like if you're not superheroes, the road to people finding out about it, if they're not wired in comics wise,
Hmm.
is Publishers Weekly and Kirkus, and both of them have not only reviewed you but given you a starred review, um, which like, I mean, this is just my way of saying, like, I understand not wanting your parents to see it, but if your parents see it at this point, like, and their immediate thoughts aren't, oh my God, my daughter did this wonderful thing, and it sucks that I inspired it the way I inspired it, but maybe I need to rethink my life. Well, fuck them.
Thank you.
Because,
That
like, and I say this as somebody who like regularly gets myself in trouble with friends and family for defending parents doing things that aren't necessarily indefensible, but are certainly like you can only defend them by reminding them that look, parenting is hard.
Mhm.
There's no roadmap, and like every parent is a reflection of their own parents. So like all your trauma, they probably have that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but there's limits.
Yeah.
There's limits, and like knowing that doesn't mean that you have to fix them.
Yeah.
Knowing that and having compassion doesn't mean so like
Well, I appreciate that.
yeah. I need to stop being armchair psychiatrist
Yeah.
slash you're reminding me of like my students and my kids and falling into protective fatherland. Um,
Aw.
um, so let's shift gears a little bit. Another one of my favorite questions to ask. Um, Give me your comics biography, not your bibliography, which I mean, first of all, it's relatively short, but but your biography. I mean, you hit some of it in the book, but like
Mhm.
what what do you remember reading youngest? What made you start wanting to make comics? What comics have you read that like changed the way you looked at comics? What Yeah, what comics have shaped you? I mean, we know all about
Well,
how your parents have shaped you, but I'm certain that
yeah.
comics have also shaped you. So talk about some of the
Yes.
comics that have shaped you.
Well, I mean, my early experience with comics is a little embarrassing and kind of like sparse. But I grew up reading, honestly, a lot of Garfield comics and
There's nothing embarrassing about reading Garfield.
the funny pages. I would always like
Funny
get,
pages are
yeah.
important.
Yeah, and then and besides that, I read a lot of chick tracts growing up. I remember like my mom would have just like boxes and boxes of them, and she would give them out to people as like
Which
dogs would
honestly,
her.
like this is where I was introduced to Chick Tracks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so why don't could describe Chick Tracks for our listeners? Because like I wasn't at all surprised at their existence, so but I didn't have a name for them.
Yeah, they're basically I my friend referred to them as this, and I think it really encapsulates what they are, except maybe not, but like evangelical Christian zines. They sort of have that feel where they're like they're printed on newsprint and they are very palm sized and they're like these little rectangular booklets that have a very consistent story arc where um, a character either gets saved and is like uh, saved from eternal damnation, or most of the time, like most frequently, um, has an error in their ways and then dies and then goes to hell and is tortured for all eternity. And there's like the guy who made them originally is Jack Chick. He was like this. I think he, yeah, right. He was he started making them in the 60s, and he was sort of like inspired, like they were sort of made to evangelize to like um the type of audience like that were like they're basically a poor imitation of I think underground comics in my like view. He was trying to like evangelize to like hippies and stuff like
Well,
that.
they also seem formatted a lot like Tijuana Bibles, so I
Yeah.
wonder if it was deliberately let's hand somebody something that they think is going to be pornographic that is instead
Oh, yeah.
let me save you.
Yeah. Um, I wonder. But yeah, he basically that they're just evangelical uh reading material that like now I think they have a couple different artists who make them because they're still in production. Like people are still um like new ones are coming out. I subscribe to their newsletter because I don't know, I guess it's like nostalgic. But they do a lot of like stuff like in other countries. They really boast themselves on printing them in like multiple languages. Like I recently got this um thing that was like now printed in Hebrew and like how they're being like distributed in Israel and stuff because like it is a very like Zionist um like they have like a whole it's really the intersection of evangelical Christianity and Zionism like
Yeah.
they have like a whole chick track about that actually and yeah, my mom she would just like give them out as like tips and like there's even I think one that's printed to look like $100 bill or something to like fake people out because they're sort of designed to be left as like tips and like in areas and stuff so
Right.
yeah that's about it on
No, I'm currently at the webpage and just over 1 billion sold.
yeah. Yeah, the vibe,
Yeah.
the aesthetic of them has changed. They're now like the drawings are more like hyper realistic, kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
Start your personal ministry today.
Yeah, I guess he started making them because he was too shy to evangelize and he wanted to.
I mean, and then
Um,
I mean, like it's easy to make fun of them. Um, but there's also comics are such a powerful medium that there's also a part of me that's like, okay, um, I
yeah,
appreciate that you had this thing that you wanted to convey, to teach, and that this is how you figured out to do it. Um,
yeah. Something I learned for my artist talk that I had during my book launch was that he actually was inspired by this genre of comics called, I'm probably mispronouncing it, but Leon Hua Hua, which is like a genre of like Chinese comics that were that really like took um, that were really popular in like especially popularized by the Communist Party of China in
okay.
because they used it to help with like their propaganda messaging and like and he heard someone on the radio talking about how the Communist Party of China would like had a lot of success within their like propaganda campaigns using these like palm-sized comic books to like like not evangelize but like to spread their like political messaging to like
I
the
mean, essentially
lower class.
evangelize communism.
Yeah, yeah. But like and I thought that was really cool because I always sort of thought of chick tracks like co-opting the aesthetics of underground comics in order to like and it's like they not only like co-opted like the aesthetics of underground comics, they also like co-opted like underground comics, which I believe as like is like very like revolutionary and like but they also like co-opted the like aesthetics of um like of like a communist propaganda
Right.
material, which I think is like really interesting how those two things sort of intersect, I guess.
Yeah. That I'm looking at some of the I Google is such a wonderful thing. I'm
Yeah.
falling down a Lian Hua Hua rabbit hole here.
Oh, nice.
Um, so okay, we've got comic strips, Garfield, Chick Tracks, but you also just mentioned underground comics. So when did you
Yeah.
discover undergrounds?
I didn't discover underground comics until college. I dated this well, dated is a very um
I've read the book.
yeah, like well, it's like a very like I like dated is a very like, you know, I don't think I talk about him in this book, but
I know, but you did talk about having more situationships than relationships.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah. But like he is a comic artist. He is a comic artist. He's like an Australian comic artist. And I was like so infatuated with him. I couldn't believe it. And like he was like actually my first.
So,
He
so,
was
so
like
now I'm hoping that he's not a complete and total asshole because, like, I hate it when I discover that comic artists are complete and total assholes.
it's so funny because he kind of he I mean he isn't he kind I was gonna say he kind of is. He is. He's like he was like 20 years my senior, and it's really funny
Not
because he
stuff that
does
I
like
wanted to hear.
yeah he does a lot of like very cutesy stuff, you know, and I feel like that's so like I don't know. I feel like sometimes the cutesier the comic, the worse the person is. But I don't know.
Right.
That's just
I mean, I hope that that's not 100% true because, like, there's
yeah,
some
that's a
cute comics
sweeping
that are like pretty cool.
yeah, that's a
Um,
sweeping accusation that I probably
right.
shouldn't hurl.
But I mean, it's definitely true across not just comics people. Like predators are often good at dressing up in sheep's clothing
Yeah, yeah. But
or teddy bear
anyway,
clothing.
I was like completely head over heels, just like I was so uh enamored with him. And he actually showed me like underground comics, and I was like, wow, like at the time I was in college, and most of my work was I was relying on metaphors and like symbolism and stuff, and like underground comics like Aileen Kaminsky Crumb and Phoebe Glockner, they really like showed me that I didn't have to rely on those metaphors. Like I could actually depict these things,
You could
and
just say, "Hey, this is it."
yeah, yeah. And like yeah. Now I feel bad about saying the cutesy comics thing, but yeah, scratch that.
I mean, and this is not to say that you're not allowed to. You're not. I don't know what you have to feel bad about.
It was just a sweeping accusation.
Right, but like, but but you also didn't make any huge specific accusations,
Yeah.
which like I
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily be opposed to either, though I'm also like, and this is where I get myself in so much trouble with so many people. Like I I think particularly in the United States, we have um such a fraught history of not talking about sex, sweeping it under the table, having
Hmm.
double standards, having triple standards, et cetera, that yes, we need to get better. I don't know that the way to get better is just to call out and shame people.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
Does that make sense? And that's
Yeah.
not even to say that I want to defend them. That's where it gets hard for me is like I don't want to feel like I'm defending the bad guy because most of the
Yeah.
time I agree that they're the bad guy, but I sometimes feel like getting caught up in like how badly we need to treat the bad guy like
No,
misses
yeah, I
misses the
agree.
the point that like I'm not saying that their victims have responsibility because that's not at all what I'm saying, but I will say that like if we had better communication around these things, if we had more realistic and thoughtful expectations around these things, a lot of the victims wouldn't be victims because they knew that they didn't have to be.
Yeah.
I mean, because sometimes it's like truly monsters, and sometimes it's nobody's communicating the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
I mean, when I grew like I'll read the article that's like women like sex just as much as men. I'm like, I know that, but I also know that society says they're not supposed to, which means that oftentimes, even when they are interested, they're supposed to say that they're not. And like, if just personally in relationships, I've had it go both ways. Like, hey, back off, and why aren't you pursuing me more aggressively? It's like trying to be respectful.
Yeah.
That's not what women want. I'm like, well, you're not allowed to speak for all women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like I try not to speak for all men. I mean, men are assholes anyway. I've been saying that for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I appreciated that about your book. Um, like the relationships that you or situationships that you did deal with, like you were both clear that, this was not actually great.
Yeah. Yeah, on both ends of the spectrum, I feel like.
Right. Well, at the
Yeah.
same time, acknowledging that I don't know that it was done with strictly predatory intent, and I had
Mm-hmm.
agency that I didn't exercise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, because I do feel like they're Potato, are you saying hi? He never stands up, but he does sometimes come to say hello. Potato, and then he runs away.
Aw.
um, yeah, this is what happens when you found a country on the prudes that left the other countries. just really, I mean, that's how America started. The people that were too prude for Europe came here and they got to be in control. And we set ourselves back. That's just a whole other rabbit hole that I can go down. It is something that I think about too much because it pops up and it's like I'll look at something. I'm like, how can you be so right and so completely miss the point at the same time? Or so wrong, even though I like the results of what's coming out of what you're saying, but like the way you're going about it, like I need to let's ask another question.
Yeah.
I sometimes reach the point where I'm like, okay, now I'm feeling like the creepy old man talking to the 20
No.
something. I need to stop. I need to stop. I need to stop. um, Let me check the time we should probably start. This has been a run. Let me roll into to final questions just
Okay.
because I think. Well, no, because we didn't. I went off on a tangent. Like you were introduced to
Yeah, Amy
undergrounds
From and
and
Phoebe
Phoebe
Glockner.
Gluckner. Those
And
are favorites. I can see
yeah,
some
those are my
Linda
favorites.
Barry in your work. Is
Yeah.
that incidental, or are you a fan?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I um I I know of her work, but I wouldn't say I'm as well versed. Yeah.
Okay.
But I also like get inspiration from like non-comic artists like Ralph Steadman and Henry Darger. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much like my comics history. It's kind of short and sweet.
Do you have favorites? Favorite
Yeah.
works?
Oh, I really like A Child's Life by Phoebe Lochner. Like that's probably my favorite.
I haven't actually read that one.
Oh,
I read oh, what's her
Diary of a
more?
Teenage Girl.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
A Child's
And
Life
I
is more like a collection of stories. Yeah.
which I mean by and large that's always how I'm really amazed when people manage to do painful memoirs that aren't collections of stories
Yeah.
because I would sit there going, don't you want to be able to switch gears for a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I
Oh,
was
okay, I
listening
know this book. I
to
just haven't read it.
nice.
Mm.
I was listening to like a podcast that sort of went into the concept of narrativizing one's life and like just literally just talking about memoirs and just how the process of narrativizing one's life because life doesn't play by the rules of a narrative. It's like you it's very easy to fall into different into like exaggeration and stuff like
Yeah.
that whenever you're dealing with stories, especially that aren't like a collection of stories. I don't know. It's like because you're trying to project a like a
Simple narrative structure
yes, yes,
on something that's much messier than that.
yes, yes. And I think I was able to I think I sort of circumvented that altogether in Bimbo
Yeah.
Agitprop. Like there, and I, to some detriment, I don't know. But like, because it is very, um, there was one review and it was a good review, but like, it sort of said something like how, things just happen one after another after another with like no clear resolution. And it's like, yeah, that's just kind of how life is.
Yeah.
But um,
Well, particularly when you're writing it from the middle.
yeah, that's true.
Or frankly, hopefully the first third.
Yeah, yeah,
You know.
hopefully.
Um, where did the title come from?
Um, well, the first title was
I
actually
mean,
Shitbag of
this is
Problems.
shipwreck problems. I love
Yeah, that
that.
was that's something my dad would call me. Like
Oh,
you're nothing
but
but a
now I
shit bag
like
of
it less.
problems. Nah, it's okay. It's like it is what it is. But like I but I think the profanity would have hurt the reach and I never really I don't like this is another sweeping claim but like because I'm sure there are some books that have profanity in the title that I love but I've always sort of not liked it whenever people put profanity in the title. Like I feel like it feels like cheesy in a way, sort of. But I also thought it would hurt the reach and like
Right,
you would have to say like shit like S asterisk asterisk asterisk
right.
bag of problems. And uh, Eric, the editor, gently said that,
Eric's a good guy.
yeah, that like it wasn't the best title. And I was like, okay, let's figure something else out. And my next suggestion was Agitprop for Bimbos because I kind of that was sort of like a tongue-in-cheek way to sort of make fun of like the what I perceived at the time as a dramatic turn to the political at the end, like that came out of nowhere. But and I'm saying like so much, but
You spent
uh
time in California and you're an American.
yes, but uh Eric said that the bimbo agitprop for bimbos was too wordy, and then he came back with what about bimbo agitprop, and I was like, yeah, that sounds good to me. Yeah.
That I like it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
Um, all right. Closing questions. Um, I've been doing the podcast for about 5 years now, and I feel like I've entered the twilight zone. You know, the ways that my life has changed in just wonderful ways, conversations that I get to have, people that I get to meet. And I find that that's so true for so many people in comics, so many people in the arts. I understand that this is your first book, so you haven't hit the con circuit. You haven't gotten to have your heroes come and say, "Oh my God, I read your book and it was amazing." So if you need to toss this down the line for the next time we talk, I understand. Um, but do you have any sort of like surreal experience that you can think of that you'd like to share?
Let me get back to you whenever I've done this a little longer, but I actually thought about something. I I I I got a story alongside Robert Crumb in this like small magazine called Headache Comics.
Oh,
And
that's amazing.
yeah, it's probably one of my most disgusting stories I've ever made in my entire life. There's a part of me that hopes
So
no one
so it
sees
fits with Robert
it.
Crumb.
Yes, it's like it's a story of one of my most disgusting memories I've ever had. And
And now I'm
so
gonna have to go
yeah.
track down this comic. What was it again?
Headache Comics. I
Headache
think it
comics.
was the third issue or the fifth. I can't remember which one, but yeah, it was a real honor to be in something alongside Robert Crumb.
That sounds cool. I haven't met Crumb, but I'm friends with Dennis Kitchen, so I've heard some cool Crumb
Oh,
stories.
nice. Yeah.
Some of them about him just generally being nervous at cons. Dennis
Mhm.
told a great story about um one of the last cons that they did together. Um he got
It,
put next to like one of the image guys. So like 90s pop comic superstar, massive line. And Crumb had a decent sized line, but
yeah.
not like, and like he was just agitated the entire time because there were not
Wow.
enough people. And then long before he was supposed to stop, he decided that he was done. And like the last person in line is like, "Oh, I drove so far and I just wanted to tell you." And he
No.
signed for that person. And then the next person tried to pull a similar and he just
Aw.
but I mean I get that because
Yeah.
like comics people perhaps more than most other um creatives tend to be really introverted.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've met maybe a handful of comics people who I think are actually extroverted, and a smaller handful that I know can pretend to be extroverted.
Hmm.
But like the better I get to know them, the more I realize that the extroverted thing is the act.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's the face they can put on for a podcast or a con.
Hmm.
Um, so like I get that, particularly because some of those image lines are I was at a con with that Kevin Eastman, the guy that created
Hmm.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, was signing at, and like his line circled almost the entire convention floor.
Wow. Wow.
I'm like, really? You're gonna? I mean, I even had a friend that was in it. Like, I didn't know he was in it until I walked by him, and I stopped talking to him. Like, and I had to ask him, like, I mean, Turtles, great, Eastman, great, but you're gonna spend half your day at the con in this line? You know that so and so and so and so and so and so are over at those tables with nobody there.
Oh my
You can
goodness.
actually talk to them.
Yeah.
But all right, final question. And I was rude because I took Child's Life off the table by getting you to mention it earlier.
Oh.
Um, Tell me something you love, preferably a comic, but we don't have rules. Preferably storytelling, but again with the rules, but
Hmm.
something that you love that not enough people around you have experienced, and you'd really like more of them to so that you have more people to talk about it with.
Um, let me see if I have it.
Everybody starts looking at their bookshelves. That's my favorite part about this question.
Um, let me see if I can find it real fast.
Okay.
Okay. I really like this retelling of the Communist Manifesto adapted by Martin Rowson. There's like some really great drawings in here that sort of encapsulate the churning brutality of capitalism, and uh it's very like dark and um
Nice.
beautiful. It's a beautiful book. Uh and yeah, so I think
And it's
that's about
Martin
it.
Rousing. Let me
Yeah.
look that up. Let me make certain I found it before I let you go,
Okay.
because you know that looks like the type of one that I might like find myself reading and getting back to you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
How do you spell Rousing?
Rowson.
S- Okay, that looks very, very cool. Oh, okay. He's an editorial cartoonist for The Guardian. I knew I recognized the name just barely. So
Nice.
very, very cool. Um, and I like myself oh, self-made hero, of course. I like a good comics adaptation.
Nice.
Um, Largely because I can't make pictures in my head. So there are
Oh,
some things that like really get unlocked for me when they're adapted. Even
yeah.
some things that I loved already, when they get adapted, like I've always loved Slaughterhouse-Five. I love Kurt Vonnegut, but like I didn't realize why everybody told thought it was so funny rather than just
Mm.
morbid until I read the Ryan North and I think Alberto Montez adaptation, and it like it's like, oh, Oh, I
Oh,
get it
nice.
now.
That's cool.
Oh,
I'll look
and
that up.
and like I've already many of my favorite economics books are comics.
Nice.
Because I think when you're dealing with things that can be number heavy, but are also very much about things rather
Mm-hmm.
than numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's often good to have pictures with the words
Yeah.
to really, again, the teacher in me, like when I have a kid having trouble with an economics class, I bring in economics with a X.
Nice.
There was a book by, I got to look it up right now because econ, economics. Yeah. Economics with an X was by Michael Goodwin and Dan Burr. And it essentially is a Econ 101 class, but
Wow.
with not just diagrams, but pictures and like really breaking down the how,
That's cool.
Alison Bechdel's newest book dealt with her learning about economics and
Oh, wow.
and it wasn't strictly about that because that's not how Becht I mean it's not how Bechtel works most of the time, but like she was wanting to understand capitalism better. So
Oh, wow.
that part of that journey is embedded in the book, and you're able to understand better because you've got both her personal stories and the theory going side by side, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Everybody knows Dirk Bechter for My Friend Dahmer, but like my favorite of his books is actually called Trashed. Um, because he it both has like a really great nonfiction component about garbage and ecology and the environment and whatnot, combined with a fictionalized version of his time as a garbage man.
Oh, wow.
So you're both able to like see the more academic side of the environmental stuff, but also the human side of like the guys that get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and ride on the back of a
Yeah.
truck and you know um and those things are things that are just so unique to comics. It's so hard, like one of the reasons why it's so important that we teach both history and literature in schools is history tells you a lot of the what and when and some of the how.
Mm-hmm.
And literature tends to tell you a lot more of the why and what it felt like,
Yeah. Yeah. I can see
even if
that.
it's not technically a true story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because when we divorce those things, like this is part of why your book is so powerful. I mean, I hit on this way back at the beginning of the conversation. Like we think of QAnon people in the abstract, and we
Mm-hmm.
think of the problems with not having good schools or not having good mental health services available in the abstract, but we don't often think of them side by side with the realities,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And that can also lead to when we see the realities, rather than thinking of the bigger problems. I mean, the single biggest problem we have with mental health in the United States is how every mental health illness is considered a character flaw.
Mm-hmm.
We never like to talk about how there's anything systemic about it. We never like to talk about any of it being luck of the draw.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there's a lot of personal responsibility involved in like overcoming. I don't even like using mental illness because that's a it's an illness model of medicine rather than a social model of
Hmm.
medicine. And when it comes to mental health, the social model is much more accurate.
Hmm.
You know, you don't, again, we discussed it earlier, you don't stop being autistic. You don't stop being borderline personality. You
Hmm.
find the best ways to adapt to make that more of a strength and less of a weakness.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
You
You can
know,
like, yeah, yeah. You can no longer meet the criteria, but it's like, it's still always a, that the journey of not meeting the criteria is a never ending journey. Like
right.
it's like there's
Well, and
yeah.
like for me, like I got my autism diagnosis much later. I've got it in like the last 2 years
Hmm.
because under the DSM-3, um, I could talk, so I wasn't autistic.
Oh,
Under the
wow.
DSM-4, the DSM-3 was what was out when I was a kid. DSM-4 was what was available when I was in like high school and whatnot. I was
Mm,
smart, so I wasn't autistic.
yeah.
It wasn't until the DSM-5 that there were autistic people involved in the criteria and who bent over backwards to like essentially say like the ability to mask doesn't make you not autistic.
Yeah.
It just means that you've already found coping mechanisms, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not necessarily good ones.
Yeah.
Um, and of course that came out in my 30s, and I don't know if you've noticed, but like we only consider autism to be a children's problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Raquel, it has been absolutely wonderful. Your book is amazing. I expect we're going to see it on a lot of lists in a couple of months and
Thank
up
you.
for a lot of awards next year.
Aw.
Um, I can't wait to see what you do next. Um, and you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you so
So,
much.
for 22 panels, this has been Raquelle Jac, and we will see you after the next page.